Next half hour, another one of the big heartthrobs. But today we've got these guys, and I don't know if any of you, when you started this program, had any idea what it was going to... Ian, did you have any idea what...
Clueless, you know, you always hope for the best, but this has exceeded my expectations by far. It's like being shot out of a cannon, what's happening
I bet.
I got the biggest kick out of watching you guys watch that piece of all the stuff that's being marketed. You didn't know about you hadn't seen the dolls yet?
That was the first glimpse I've ever gotten of the dolls, yeah.
And you didn't know about the pillowcases?
I heard about them, but
You didn't know that girls were going to sleep at night with their little heads against your face saying, oh, look.
didn't know that, Joan.
But they're also drooling.
Yeah. They're waking up stuck to these pillowcases.
That'll bring you down to size. They're drooling on the pillowcase. Let me ask you a question, and I don't know how to do this and make it sound right, but this has gotten to be so popular, and there is all this marketing and so much hype now. Is there a line where the hype gets in the way of the show? When it begins to get so big that people aren't watching the show anymore for what it is, they're just seeing the hype.
We hope not. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because we hope it doesn't, you know, ruin the credibility of the show when they see all these objects, the materialistic objects. What's most important to us as actors are the storylines that we come across, the relationships that the characters develop, and how the audience perceives our show.
I think that's part of what kids really like, too. Kids feel that they've got a show for themselves, and they see you go through a lot of the same things. I wonder with you, Brian, because your character was, is it fair to say he was, you know, a little bit of a geek in the beginning? Now he's gotten to be a really cool guy. And I wonder, was it more fun playing when he was a geek? Or is it, you know, but I mean, your character's gone through this transformation. Is it more fun playing it now, or was it more fun back then?
It's still, I mean, it's fun either way. He was really awkward before. I had a lot of shtick with Ian.
Yeah.
Ian here.
Steve actually likes Brian.
Yeah.
Or likes David now.
Yeah,
he
they
kind of
get
gets
along.
a chuckle out of all the things he does. I guess he kind of relates.
Befriended him, sure.
Yeah, you know.
They work off each other. I think that's why David kind of progressed a little bit, you know.
Was he hard to get to like?
Well, Brian, I'm sorry, David Green is a very lovable character, and
Silver.
you know he's young. David Silver. Little confusion here. I'm sorry. David Silver, his character, you know, started off a little awkward. I think that's something that every kid goes through in high school, and you know, as you mature and you become an upper student, you can relate. So, you know.
Do you have you guys are kidding about the names. Do you have trouble with the names?
Yeah, I just wondered, do you call each other by your real names or the...
It's live TV that does that.
Well, somebody was saying that there's a problem with Brandon and Brenda all the time, and it's sometimes it's Brandon and something, you know.
I get called Jason a lot. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you guys all hang out together when, you know, when you're not working? Yeah. I hear you guys can get rather rowdy, actually.
Oh, no.
No?
Never.
No, but, you know, we do hang out, and we have a good time.
Who was the butt of the jokes? I suspect he's in the middle, but I'm not sure.
Because you're the young...
Look at me, because I'm the young one. I'm sitting in that.
We take care of each other.
Brian, tell me about the volleyball game.
The volleyball game?
Yes. I understand that when you went, was it you? When you went up to do a spike, you got, as
That was...
John Madden said,
that was good old, I did
I set him up for that. I said, Brian, you know, jump up high and go for the spike.
Like the ball. I went up for the spike. He pants me in front of everyone.
Oh, it's great.
But yeah, it was a complete pants, and that's what was actually funny about it.
What is a complete pants?
Well,
when my butt is facing his face, and you know, you really get to know someone, I think.
I don't like hearing this at all. Since when I came in with my daughters this morning, the first thing Luke said was, "Hey girls, let me take you out and show you where we play basketball." Right?
Yeah, right over there.
Well,
right over there.
Don't tell me you're not the butt of the jokes if you're getting pants in the middle of a volleyball.
That was a setup.
But
All right, we're going to take a break for a moment. We're going to get some of the parents from this show in here to kind of get things under control. Mom and Dad Walsh are here with us in the Walsh living room. And Carol Potter plays Cindy Walsh, and James Eckhouse plays Jim Walsh. And, you know, you guys have to be the moral focus of the show, you know, provide... How do you make parenting realistic but not boring?
Well, it's never boring. I mean, you're a real parent, so you know it really is never boring. That is one of our challenges. We just try to stick our noses in every once in a while, and
Before we went on air, these guys were snapping each other's blue jeans. Do you sometimes feel Like you guys are the den mother and den father.
I don't know what you're talking about, Charlie. I mean, we never participated in that kind of stuff, really.
Only on camera.
Only
Only on camera.
From a handshake, and all of a sudden, you know...
It went
It's a thing.
to everything.
We're snapping.
Earrings.
But you know, it is. It's like it's very sophomoric on the.
No.
It is. You guys, I'm telling you, it's very hard for me sometimes to concentrate when you're being like this. But we have such the best time.
Just get up
This is the one that's mature on the set.
Right.
Carol and I, we act like complete...
I sort of like this now. How do you do it? What do I find out?
It's become a saying on Good Morning America. I can see it now.
Don't. The 902.
I am superb.
He got it.
I am superb. The whole crew does it, too. And you'll be about to go on and, be doing a take and something like that, and all of a sudden the cameraman will come up to you and go, like this, and you go, wait a minute, It's supposed to be serious here.
It's tremendous camaraderie. It is.
She's got it down. I'm going to be feeling this 2 minutes before air every morning.
Absolutely.
I know.
But you guys, I mean, I look at the credits that you have in your industry, and here you are, and it's funny because you've almost become, because of all these kids, in a supporting role with these major personalities that have just come out of this program. What's it been like? Have you learned anything from them, or do you find that you also help and teach them?
Kind of says it all, Joan, right there, doesn't it? What a response.
Jason, the friend Kenobi of our set.
She knows.
I get that question all the time. Do the kids come to you for advice like you're their mother? I said, oh, please.
I watched them.
Yeah. All right. Stick around.
I think we learned from them. I think we learned from
Really? How?
Actually, yes. Well, when I'm as successful and as big a heartthrob as Luke Perry, I'll know how to handle it. Because, I mean, these I'm just very impressed with how they've handled all this tremendous hoopla that's come
Have they
up
been
around
able to
the
keep
show.
it in line?
Yes, yes. I mean, nobody's blown. Their heads are not blown up. It's very down to earth.
Well, we have those torture chambers.
We're lucky to be working. Are you kidding? We're aware of that.
If anyone gets out of line.
Bring him down to size.
We'll get the Carol Potter pillows going.
I would definitely.
And I want one of those. And I want one of those. I would be standing in line for a Carol Potter pillow.
It is 5 minutes. We'll take a...
Be allowed to use it.
Okay.
Now, before you give me your answer, did you say okay?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you pay for repairs and I don't have to ride with you, why should I care?
He plays a well-adjusted teenager from Minnesota, dealing with life in Beverly Hills. In real life, Jason Priestley is a well-adjusted 23-year-old from Vancouver, dealing with Hollywood fame.
Hunklet, I think. TV Guide referred to you as a hunklet.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Yes. You know, I think it was sort of a cross between a heartthrob and a piece of gum, and I think that's, yeah.
Fame is a very difficult thing, as I'm sure you've learned. It somehow says to both the media, I suppose, and the public as well, that because you're famous, you become public domain. It's a very thin line to walk, isn't it?
Yes, when you do something like we do, and you come into people's homes, and people sit down for an hour and spend an hour with you in their house, and they feel like because of that, that they somehow own you, or you owe them something, or they have a right to you, as opposed to the character you portray on the show. And there is a certain privacy loss that goes with that. I think you can control it to a certain extent as long as you try to control it.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is one of those questions I really hate to ask because, well, it's invasive, and yet you are asked all the time, how's your love life? How do you handle that graciously? I mean, people want to know. What do you say?
I think really the toughest thing about that question is not the question itself. It's a question of, if indeed I am seeing someone and I'm involved with someone, to talk about it takes that relationship, and we all know the relationships are hard enough as it is, and it takes it from just being a personal relationship to bringing it sort of into public light, and that makes it even tougher as relationships go. And being the emotional refugee that I am, I think that anything I could do to keep things simpler is probably better.
There are an awful lot of young, successful people like yourself who, with their success, particularly when, let's say, their show ends, lose that ability to stay okay. You've got to know that despite its success now, the series will end someday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're okay with that?
Yeah. The way that I stay okay is that this show has been a wonderful experience for me, and I've learned a lot about acting, about directing, about everything, including myself, and it's been a wonderful experience. And if it ended all tomorrow, I'd leave the show thinking that I've had just a fantastic experience. It's just been a great thing.
I was just in here making sure that their hair, everybody's hair was in place, because we are here with the ladies.
It was before he got in here, I'll tell you.
The ladies of Beverly Hills 90210. Let me just go run through them. Shannon Doherty plays Brenda Walsh, and Jenny Garth plays Kelly Taylor. Tori Spelling plays Donna Martin. These are all like fast friends here. And also we have the very serious intellectual girl of the group here, Gabrielle Cartera. She plays Andrea Zuckerman. And we welcome you all. Actually, you're welcoming us here.
You're getting snapped again.
The girls do it, too.
You've all got it down.
Did any of you have any inclination, any little idea that this thing was going to take off the way it did?
No. Well, we were kind of like this little small show that nobody wanted to believe in or anything, and Fox sort of gave us the chance, and we ran with it, and all of a sudden people are liking our show because we're an intelligent show that gives teenagers some credit for being intelligent.
We were talking just yesterday to the head of programming for Fox, who said, I had a little show there that was dying. And then we moved it, and all of a sudden, to take the movement of the day, just took off. Were you doing anything differently between then
No,
and when
I
it
think
began?
you know, I mean, we've never really given up on the quality, and that's what's important about our show, is that we keep the shows very quality.
I also think
we do main issues, and that's what's important.
But Fox did something that was really smart.
You're going to talk about the summer.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right. I think that's
major.
key.
When everybody was in reruns, Fox said, not only are we going to keep the show, we're going to go and air it at a time that no other show is doing a new show. So it was a slot for us that was really, it was exposure.
I think that's critical, and I don't understand why more shows don't do that. To get noticed, you do fresh programs, get publicity for that, and then...
Well, Jenny over here, I should say Kelly over here, gets noticed. I mean, How are you
going to say this nicely?
How do I say this?
You're a big TV star, and you're blushing.
Yeah, you kind of keep things juicy on the show, you know? You kind of keep things, you kind of add a little spirit to the show.
She's a pretty wild girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. She makes it very interesting.
But it's an interesting problem. She is flirtatious. She is admittedly sexually active. Do you get criticism from one group, I would suspect, criticizes and says, why, how dare you depict somebody in high school as sexually active? Another group, I would say, criticizes and says, well, you make it all antiseptic, you know? I mean, nobody swears, and it's all done so nicely.
Well, you're never going to please everybody, right?
Yeah.
Right. I really enjoyed playing Kelly because that's how it is in high school. Sex is there, drugs are there, and if we don't make that aware, or if we don't state that and be honest about that.
You're kind of a mixed-up kid sometimes when you're that age,
right.
too.
And you know, I just enjoy it because it's an honest character, and maybe she's made mistakes, but
Right, it's not like he's advocating sex.
Right.
It just says that sex exists.
Right.
But do you all feel that responsibility, though? Because you say we're not advocating, but do you...
Yeah, but you have to be honest. I mean, you have to be truthful, and statistics are showing how many teenagers are having sex. And it's like with my character and with Luke's character, Dylan, you know, we had sex and then we got kind of killed for it and we had to make up for it. And it's like, you know, be realistic. Do you really think teenagers aren't having sex? And do you think Dylan and Brenda really stopped having sex? No, they're still having sex. And it's just that because the public won't accept it, we're having to pull back and say, okay, fine, we'll let you take it, but we are still having sex.
How do all of you insulate yourselves from all the hype that goes on around the show?
Well, you grew up with all of it, Tori. I mean, you had to be like used to it growing up. I mean, obviously, her father's there in Spelling.
Came from a showbiz family.
Sure, yeah,
but how do you now insulate yourselves from the hype that surrounds the show?
And be able to do your job.
I mean, you just can't let it get to you. I mean, I grew up in the business, and it's, I don't know, it's different. But, I mean, it's still weird, you know, when people recognize it and everything, even though I grew up around it. It's still a new thing for me.
And I love
Well, we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll bring Luke in here, get his fix on how all of you do.
Fix our hair and...
And do some more snaps, right?
Keep them out no matter what. We'll be back in just a second.
Back at the malt shop.
Back at the malt shop.
Malt shop.
And once again with us, Shannon Doherty plays Brenda Walsh, Jenny Garth plays Kelly Taylor, Tori Spelling, Donna Martin, and Gabrielle Carteras plays Andrea.
Andrea.
And of course, here he is, the heartthrob, Luke Perry.
Oh.
Now, you know, we read
Would somebody fix his hair, please?
Stop that.
we read all about you. I want to know what's he really like.
I'm
Ladies?
You know, he's a really down-to-earth guy. This is the truth. Everybody wants to know. I do. I think he's very down-to-earth. And I think that Luke has struggled in some ways more than the rest of us.
Why?
Because of the...
Because of the reaction to the show?
Well, first of all, being a male, I mean, both Jason and Luke get a lot of reaction. I don't think one is more than the other, but I think what happened was with Luke, it came out very quickly, and this is my experience of it, so that when he went to that time when he went to Florida, he was the first one to experience the rush of people coming at him and getting hurt. And I think that everybody's been feeling when this stuff goes on, I mean, we've all felt it in our own ways, but Luke felt it the most obvious when it was really being announced.
So then did you all support each other? I mean, is there a family feeling here on the show?
Yeah, we're all very supportive. I mean, as you can tell. They're big
well, I sensed that this morning. I mean, you know, we get a
It's like
sense
we're all,
each
like
morning.
Jay's in New York now. You know, he's doing Saturday.
Oh, yeah, good luck.
Go get him.
And happy Valentine's.
And go get him. He's going to be great on Saturday Night Live. We do, you know, I mean, like, he's in New York, and we're all worried about him. We hope he's doing well. We know he'll be funny.
So do you all bring in, like, every time you're on the cover of another magazine, do you see each other with it? What do you feel? How does it feel?
We're happy for each other, you know, there's times
But
when...
is there also a little, I mean, how do you control the competition and the jealousy?
No, really. Look how different
we let it run amok.
How could you even compete?
How do you and I control it?
Right. That kind of thing.
Not a problem.
I wear Luke's hat. I mean, we're all very different. So in a way, there's no competition.
You were talking about the huge surge of personality sort of cults that have that's a terrible word, but the personality reaction that existed around the two male stars. Have you gotten some of that yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, I think that all of us on the show did it because, you know, there's so much attention on the show, period. So everybody's focused. I mean, I know that, I don't know for you guys, I'm pretty sure it's for the same for everyone, but we can't go to malls either without, you know, people attacking us or stuff. I mean, it definitely affects your life.
Inundated with mail?
Yes.
How do you take care of that?
That's good. We like getting the mail. It's fun to read. We always read letters to each other, you know.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you compare who gets the most?
No, we don't do that.
We're trying not to.
That's somebody else's job.
We're trying to survive.
Guys,
I'm engaged, so, I mean, I found my guy, so I don't need to worry about
sorry, all you guys out there. She's taken.
Well,
We're all taken. They're all taken. All the girls in the show are taken.
Well, just so that Jason doesn't feel bad, live from Los Angeles, this has been Good Morning America. We'll take a commercial break. And we'll be right back.